afternoon. Afternoon, YouTube. Hope you are all doing well. Paul, how you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. How are you? How's your trading going? Trader boy, good to see you, mate. You're from A1, right? Are you from A1? Good to have you here. I appreciate you joining. So with the lives, I am going to try, I always said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'm going to try come on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I might not be on Fridays until the weather is a bit too hot because I'm trying to get the end of golf season. So I'm not going to be on tomorrow because I'm playing golf, but I'm going to try, and once it gets summer, I'm going to try and do this every day at this particular time. So yeah. Okay, so let's get into the markets. We're seeing a little bit of a drop down in this SPX. Now, I did say yesterday I was expecting a slight drop on account of possibly our complex corrective back in. Now, today and tomorrow is going to be interesting, I think. You know, what we want to see, remember, we are coming from this push, so it is still technically in an uptrending environment, obviously. But we want to see some real bullish momentum. The fact that we had this day yesterday, a little bit worrisome. You know, we don't really want to see a bearish bar like this coming on volume and, not a decently, losing my words, not a bad bearish bar, put it that way. So in order for this to become potentially C wave, so we've got A, B, potentially C, again, we need some kind of bullish momentum. If we drop down and the end of the week we do drop down, I would be a little bit worried. Okay, we still have, if we put a fib on this area here, in terms of healthy trends, for me, that 61.8 is the line in the sand. So technically, we can go down here before we continue. I understand that, but I'm talking about the health of price action. And what I would prefer to see is some bullish momentum. So this is why we're seeing some strength in the yen. This is why we're seeing some strength in the Swiss and that kind of a little bit of intraday risk-off nature. So yeah, today and tomorrow will be quite interesting, and until we see that real bullish momentum, I'm not going to go risk on, but it could be that possible complex corrective. Let's see. Let the market tell us rather than predicting. The dollar today, the dollar is okay. The dollar's strong. Okay, from a daily perspective, the dollar is strong. We're in this rangy environment. We're breaking through this structure, and possibly in this retest phase from a daily perspective before continuation. That's got to be your bias with the dollar. The dollar, since COVID, post-COVID, has benefited whenever markets have fallen, that kind of safe haven asset flight to cash. It still seems to be acting that way. Pre-COVID, if the markets rose, the dollar rose. Post-COVID, markets rise, dollar falls, and that kind of inverse correlation. So, decent 4-hour bar here, again, with a little bit of volume coming in over London. I think we are just pausing. We could be getting some possible price acceptance above this area. This bar is a slight worry. I mean, are we going to come down and retest here again as we've done previously? Bias is to the upside. I don't think we have a reason to buy the dollar right now. On account of general strength, yes, I don't think buying the dollar is a bad play. But I would probably wait for either a proper break above these highs or a reason to enter on a retest. So because of this bar, I'm expecting some possible weakness, sometimes intraday. And if we dissect it, you might get some pullback within it before it continues back down. But I think over the US session, because of that 4-hour, possibly expecting a little bit of a move down before we move to the upside. So dollar for me, potential pullback. Look for your RTE, your reason to enter. Possibly down here, or again, if it does decide to continue, that for me is okay. We're not in an extended environment, and buying the dollar on that pullback in the SPX certainly makes sense. Okay, setups today. Before I get into setups, I want to talk a little bit about Aussie Swiss because I think it's quite interesting. Some of you will know I am developing a fake out strategy. Now, I'm doing this after my aggressive strategy. I want to make sure I'm 100% committed to that each strategy when I'm testing it, and right now I want to do the aggressive, get that implemented before I start again with my fake out. But what I saw here was very interesting. So if we talk about these extensions, all right, or not really extensions, but certainly a very decent move to the upside on the Aussie against those risk-off currencies, Aussie yen, Aussie Swiss. Right, the difference between Aussie Swiss is that we had a break above these highs. So for me personally, a trend continuation trader, right? If we've come from here, okay, we've had a slight pullback here, but we've pushed on. This price action here is not enough for me to be confident in saying, okay, we've come from here. Do we think we're going to have another, another move like this? Probably not. I needed to digest a little bit more. And when we see pushes like this, if they don't turn into a complex corrective, i.e. our ABC or channel corrective, whatever it is to digest this impulse, right, I have a little bit of worry about it. So we had a push up in the Aussie, and again, look where it's come. It's broken through the highs and completely rejected that highs. So as a fake out trader, not trusting this price action moving, I drilled down to the smaller time frames to see if there was something there. Right? So if we are looking at the 1 hour chart, right, and remember our confluence here with a fake out is with that daily extension, not thinking that that trend is healthy. Look what we've got here on the 1 hour. This is a perfect theoretical hammer. And not only that, it's coming on increased volume. So the premise of my fake out is finding those extensions, that unhealthy, unsustainable price action on higher time frames, drilling down to the 30-minute or 1 hour and finding, that's pretty bad writing there, but 30-minute, 1 hour, finding that catalyst for entry. And normally they come in the form of a hammer bar, engulfing, whatever it is, very simple candlestick patterns. And we've got a perfect one here. So although you might say, well, Ryan, on this 1 hour chart, it doesn't look too bad, right? Okay, it doesn't look too bad. But again, we're getting that confluence from the daily. As a breakout trader, if we look at this 1 hour chart, I'm never taking a break when it moves a little bit climactically like that. So again, if we just put a line here, you can see the climactic move on a break, which is never good. We never want to take those breakouts. We look at the 4 hour. Again, we're breaking through these highs, but where are we breaking from? Deep. Okay, we've come back, and yes, I'll agree with you. The 4 hour actually looks pretty good at this point, but breaking above the highs here from this type of price action, a lot of times is susceptible to a fake out. So this is the premise of the strategy that I am developing, and this is the kind of power that it has on good setups where you're selling this candle, right, and you're looking for movements like this. So I am going to test this and get properly testing it after I finish my aggressive, but I thought that was very interesting on Aussie Swiss. Now the difference is we didn't see this on Aussie Yen. So look at the difference between Aussie Yen from a daily perspective is that we haven't broken these highs. So that's a very important distinction. We are looking for breaks of these highs from movements like this. So very similar with Aussie Swiss, this pullback is not enough. So I wouldn't be buying Aussie Yen down here because I don't trust that we're going to get another move. We want to be buying it down here. But the fact that in terms of the fake out, we haven't broken the highs, we can't look at a fake out for this. So I thought that was quite interesting in Aussie Swiss and something to think about. If you're looking at buying these pairs, up here, I just something that personally I can't bring myself to do. So that was Aussie Swiss. Okay, watch this today. What have we got? We had gold. Unfortunately, I got clipped out of gold yesterday on that breakout. Got clipped in on news, and it's coming back up. To be honest, I was pretty confident this was moving to the downside. It doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean my short bias is done. But depending on how this 4 hour closes, I could look at a re-entry tomorrow, depending again if that closes bearishly or bullishly. If it doesn't, then obviously I take it off and let this gold go and run to the potentially to the upside. But I still like it. I still like it short. Possibly a daily short here is still, still making sense to me. It's just being a little bit stubborn. With price action right now. So, yeah, I mean, it's been, for me personally, been a little bit of a tough time, February, March. Had a great January, but this is trading. This is trading sometimes, and it's, it's not a game where you're making thousands and thousands every day. We have to be slow and patient with it and understand the realities that times sometimes aren't going to be great. And, that's just unfortunately something. So gold, I'm still in this on an aggressive entry on this particular bar here, right? So stops above here on my data, but not in that on an actual trade. Unfortunately, got stopped out. So what else am I looking at? Pound Swiss is still there. Pound Swiss still setting up quite nicely. If stocks decide to move to the downside, I expect the Swiss to be a beneficiary of that. So we've got this large basing structure here in this corrective, starting to be looking pretty nicely. from this move to the downside. So again, digesting this area. I just need this to come back down and give me something like this to take that break to the downside. Daily confidence is still good, but just need some bearish price action on pound Swiss. Pound USD, pound dollar. Pound dollar is nice. So this is not quite enough for me to put my order in just yet. Again, we think about our 30 to 50% rule from this initial basing structure, albeit this price action looks really nice, you know, in this complex corrective, ABC. I just need a little bit more. So if I get a little bit more accumulation, you know, over the rest of the US session into tomorrow's session before London, this would be pretty good for a breakout to the downside. The good thing about this is the risk reward is great. So stops will be above that swing and looking for a breakout underneath this area. It's just not quite ready yet. So as I said, I need US session and Asian session or Asian session to accumulate before I can take that break. But if it does do that, I certainly take that to the downside tomorrow. On a break of B wave, daily confluence is great. Dollar looks strong. Pound is weak. As I said, ready to move in terms of this trend. Absolutely. Good bar yesterday or 2 days ago. Rejection. A battle bar yesterday on coming on high volume. And it looks as if sellers are now potentially taking control as that dollar strengthens up. So if we do get a pullback in that DXY, we may see this accumulate depending on how London or how the US opens or how the US session reacts today. But pound USD is very nice. Pound USD is certainly very nice. New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD is going quite well on, again, on that aggressive entry. Potentially looking at this coming down here. Kaisen, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. You and GU short at the moment. Good, good. Yeah, I like it. I like it, mate. I certainly like that. It's a pair that I want to be involved in for sure. Pair that I want to be involved in. V reversal here from our ABC corrective. This is pretty clean in terms of a setup. Again, underneath these moving averages, looking for a tag of this area. Very similar to yesterday on a breakout. If I don't get this, I can look down here for potential shorts as well. But this is quite nice. This is quite nice. NZD CAD potential to the downside. And finally, another one I do like is USD NOK. So USD NOK on this 4 hour. Okay, it's a counter trend idea, but it's a counter trend idea that has merit. We've got this big bar. Okay, so that's obviously our first sign. If you're selling it, if you're selling into it, you'd be worried about this particular bar. With that big bar, we've got a few days of pullback, essentially in digestion within it before we move to the upside. Yesterday, we closed above this pinch of moving averages. So we've got the 200 there and we've got the 20, which is a good sign for me, closing above those moving averages. From a 4 hour perspective, again, very similar to GU, I want this to accumulate a little bit more. So we've got you can look at this as head and shoulders. I'm just looking at this as our cup with handle. Good pullback into that 40-60 box, creating that healthy trend from this impulse to the upside. Notice here, look, slight fake out. Don't take breaks from deep. Often you are susceptible to this kind of price action. But we've pulled back, we've tagged this area again, and we're currently in our accumulation phase. So what I need is this 200 to come down a little bit more, accumulation to happen a little bit more, so our breakout is above both of those moving averages, which gives us that dynamic support to price. So this is good. I don't mind what it's doing. I know we've got a bearish bar here. That's fine. It's possibly creating an anchor for our stop, but I just need a little bit more. We think about, the cup with handle within the cup with handle. The 30 to 50% digestion rule is still there. So we still need something like this in terms of range to digest to make this a valid potential breakout. Now, if it does break out to the upside and we don't get a breakout, I look for a retest, in which case it should come on the 200, it should come on the 20, and we move to the upside. So I really like that. It's something that I do really like, and it's certainly a trade that I want to be involved in. So USD NOK, I know is an exotic, but I actually really like these exotic pairs. I find a lot of success with them, and certainly in major risk-on environments and major risk-off environments, you'll see the likes of USAR, USEC, UNOC move like really well. So if the stock market does decide to come off, right, then I'm expecting USD NOK to move quite nicely to the upside. So I do like that idea, and those are GU and USD NOK are certainly my favorite on the basket. So looking for, again, this could be a trade for tomorrow, and USD NOK could also be a breakout trade for tomorrow, buying that dollar, which gives us confidence, with that's why I do my, index analysis with a potential retest on that DXY. So if we do come down here over the US session, right, and then tomorrow before London, we get our potential, rounding effect or hammer bar coming on high volume, that's my reason to enter or confluence with those two ideas. So I like them. I certainly do like them a lot. And yeah, that's my picks for today. So another relatively quick stream. I'm still getting back into the groove of live streaming on YouTube, still kind of figuring it out, but I appreciate you guys being here again. I'm sure as I keep going on and on, the regular crowd will come back up. But yeah, I think for me personally, and this is, a lot of well, I'm a trader for quite some time. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and going through a little bit of a down patch. The main thing we got to do here is keep our discipline. We're not trying to force trades because the big winners will come. Kaizen, I know Kaizen, you're still here, but this too shall pass, right? As long as we don't revenge trade for stuff where we're then going into a bit of a, a hole basically, we'll be okay. And we stick to that edge. We want to be the casino and not the gambler. And the good times will come. And the good times, you should make more than the kind of poorer times. So that's my thought for the end of the day. Yeah, I'll see you all on Monday. I don't think I'll be here tomorrow because I am playing golf, but I'll be back on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at this time. And so if you covered it, joined late, no worries, mate. But what's your view on the euro? The euro against the euro in general? Easiest place would be look at EU. Fundamentally, buying the euro doesn't really make sense to me. It has been relatively weak. Do I see any reason to buy it just yet? Give me a pair, guys. And what are you looking at? Because for me, it's easier if you give me a chart and I can say, well, I don't mind it. The thing I don't like, if I just bring up Euro NZD, right, I wouldn't be selling this. I hate price action that goes like this. We have an impulse, and it's kind of looking a little bit like a loss of momentum to the downside. It could be your falling wedge, right? So I wouldn't be a seller of Euro NZD in terms of that particular currency pair. If we go over to the Euro USD, Euro USD looks a little bit better for movement to the downside. I don't like the idea of buying it, but there's possibly some charts where you could make some money on a pullback. Markets are moving very strangely. Yeah, for the past 2 months, Paul, with all this shite in fucking Russia, Ukraine, it's made it very difficult for my personal strategy. January was great, but the last 2 months have been difficult. So I've been a little bit more selective because I know, like when I wake up in the morning, I know whether I like the market or not. And I haven't woken up in a while where I'm thinking, I know where this is going. And when I'm feeling it, and you're probably the same, when you're feeling it, you know where stuff is going to go, right? It might be a very small period of time, but that's where I certainly make most of my money. And just trying to pick decent trades from it. So GU, I think, is a great trade. I'm leaving that Aussie, I'm leaving the Aussie pairs because they're just simply too extended for me. But like setups like this, this is certainly the best of the bunch in terms of a daily confluence. And, can it move? This is what I always ask myself. Can we have one of these movements from here? And the answer is yes. Very similar to USD NOK. Can we have that movement? Absolutely we can. Euro NZD. Oh, I just did Euro NZD actually, funny enough. Yeah, so that's what I would say. From a 4-hour perspective on the euro, you're getting into this pullback, right? But you might have expected it to fall from here. So if we put our simple fib on it, so from the latest move, which for me would be here, right? We're roughly at that line in the sand. So if I zoom in, right, on particular price action here, we're at that line in the sand for me. Now, sometimes in these markets, you know, it does come a little bit deeper and possibly moves down, you know, liquidity trading or whatever. But that there, again, on recent 4-hour bar and high volume, puts a little bit of doubt on whether this wants to continue. And going with that daily confluence where I'm like, I certainly wouldn't be selling it here because the move's already happened, you know? So in terms of Euro NZD, that would be my only confluence, you know? That would be my only confluence. But, yeah, hard to say, Kaizen. Hard to say. So I would rather buy it than sell it, but set myself on the fence. Totally agree, not making sense. Yeah, it's difficult. And, you know, sometimes just taking a little step back. You know, I mean, you guys probably saw my video on failing the 200K FTMO, right? So what I'm doing is I'm waiting until I feel that little bit of resonation before I go again. And what I'm going to try, see if I can bring this up. I found a new company, right? Which I'm going to give a little bit of a bash for because they don't have a challenge, which is, for me, is perfect. So it's the StockNet Institute, right? It's a new company based out in the UK. So essentially, oh, not this one. Where is it? Here we go. I'm trying to get the website. Here we go. So they don't have a challenge. Let me see if I can get the website. Here we go. So get funded now. Here we go. So they 10 times your initial deposit. So I'm just going to try it with $1,000. Give me a 10 grand account. Right. Once you achieve 10%, they double your account size. Okay, and that's essentially the rules. Okay, apart from one rule, we cap overall drawdown 8%. That's fine by me. You know, I'm happy to start and, you know, reduce my risk and kind of go on from there. But my kind of plan is to try this and, you know, not take any money out and try to essentially grow it. The only problem is you know, is this legit? The reviews are good. It does look legit. And I really like the fact that it doesn't have a challenge because the challenges are bullshit. I mean, we know that. The challenges are basically making FTMO and my Forex funds rich. But the payoff of that is you get a massive amount of equity. So I understand it. But yeah, I'm certainly not going to start anything right now until I feel a little bit of resonation. You went short on EN, but you're reckoning it stopped out. I mean, the power of the trend is on your side. I could just see it possibly, you know, you could possibly pull back roughly up here, and then it comes down again. I just, you know, I wouldn't be massively comfortable with it, Kaizen, to be honest with you. But it could have a deeper pullback before continuing with that trend. You know, with stocks coming off, New Zealand, Kiwi might come off in terms of that commodity currency. Yeah, not sure what to tell you, mate. Unfortunately, not sure what to tell you on EN. But yeah, those are I'd say those are my two picks. GU is certainly looking nice. I just hope it doesn't break. If it does break, I can look for a breakout retest and very similar to USD NOK. But also the position is really good. Alrighty. Appreciate you all coming again. Any other questions before I head off? And get my dinner. Go for a walk. Watch the Masters. Masters starting today. Tiger Woods. Can't believe he's playing. That'll be me for the next couple of days on the couch watching the Masters. No more. All right, guys. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you on Monday, same time. Trade safe. Peace.